Hello there, this is Father Ken Lau, and welcome to the new episode of Nuggets for the Soul. I would just like to share with you a parable that I discovered in the internet, and it's very applicable for us, especially during Easter. And the name of the parable is called the Parable of the Matchsticks. And it's by Jean Lorraine and Pia Noche. Okay, and the parable goes like this. Okay, so once upon a time, there's a house in a forest, and inside that kitchen of this house was a cupboard near the stove. Okay, and so inside the cupboard, there's a small matchbox that stood handy. Okay, so living inside the matchbox were around 50 matchsticks. Okay, so one day, a matchstick named Sticky said to the rest of the matchsticks, "Haven't you noticed that we have lost 5 matchsticks during the past week? Every time the match house is opened, one of us is taken away." Taken away? Where are they taken? Sticky asked Teeny. So Teeny is the youngest of the matchsticks. "I don't know. I just know that they're taken away. I don't know what happens because as soon as one of us is taken, our house closes and it gets dark again. I only know that we are again one matchstick less." Okay, so they all committed that they promised to hold on to one another the next time the match house was open. So the next day, when the match house was slowly opened, the fearful matchsticks drew closer together and held tightly to one another. And they all prayed that no member of their family would be taken away. So what happened there, that they saw this large fingers picking up a tiny matchsticks who was trembling in fear. Since they were holding on to one another, several other matchsticks were dragged out of the match house. The matchsticks fell on the kitchen floor. Sticky was one of the matchsticks that fell out. So when Sticky raised his head, he saw Tinny being held at one end by the mighty hand. Tinny, who was the youngest of the family. So the mighty hand rubbed Tinny's tiny head on the wall of the matchbox. Sticky opened his eyes again. He saw Tinny's tiny head suddenly turning into a beautiful spark of light. "How beautiful! I have never seen such a wonderful sight," exclaimed Sticky. So that tiny flame from Tinny's head lit the wick of a candle. It seemed that the candle flame that brightened that dark kitchen bore the will and spirit of tiny Tinny. So the candle flame was passed from one candle to another until the whole house brightened up. The light which came from Tinny was used to cook supper and brighten up the conversation over supper. It shone over the books the children read and lit up the family altar during prayer time. Sticky understood how important the light from the flame was for the family who lived inside the house. "So this is it," thought Sticky. "We are taken away so we can turn into a big and beautiful bright spark that lights up the darkness that surrounds people." So Sticky realized that the joy pushed aside the fear inside him, and hope slowly filled his tiny wooden heart. "I must get back to the match house," said Sticky. "I must tell others of what I've seen. They must know the truth about us so that they will never be afraid to leave the match house. Oh, I must get back." And the following morning, Sticky looked up and he saw the mighty hand carefully picking up the matchsticks that fell on the kitchen floor. And so Sticky was the one that was placed inside the matchbox. Okay, and as soon as Sticky was back inside the match house, he told everyone what happened to Tinny. Like Sticky, they too stopped being afraid of leaving the match house. Okay, so from then on, the matchsticks understood their purpose. They accepted that one day they would have to leave their tiny home. This time they knew what they would become when they leave. The tiny match house was now filled with hope and anticipation. Each matchstick anxiously awaits a chance to become a much needed bright light, even for one brief moment. So I've heard this parable from a very holy priest from the Philippines in one of his homilies, and he 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 his interpretation of this parable was that this one matchstick named Sticky that came back to this match house is Christ. Okay, so it's coming back again to life, and and the Lord is really telling us that we have a purpose in life, and our purpose in life is that we are called to become the light in the world. Okay, and so many people are living in darkness right now, and because so many people are living in darkness, so many people are living in fear, especially right now uh, with COVID. A lot of people are living in fear, and for us Christians, we're called to be the light of the world. We're called to spread that joy and that hope. Okay, that joy that is based on our relationship with Jesus. In Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 10, it says, "The joy of the Lord is my strength." It's not based on circumstances, but based on our relationship with Jesus. And our hope is in the Lord by this parable of the matchsticks and reminds us of our purpose. We're called to be the light of the world. The light that we get from Christ, we need to share it to those who are in darkness. Be a living saint. Jesus, Mary, Joseph, we trust in you.